Isn't it crazy how the last, 4 months, we get told that, you're a sexist if you think that a woman might be too emotional to be president? And then all of a sudden, my social media, after the woman loses, gets filled with things like this.
I'm sorry. No! Why? Why? Do you really hate me that bad?
That's peak emotional stability if I've ever seen it. Everybody, I'm Phares, and you're watching Speechless. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, obviously, and this is Speechless. Please, if you guys don't mind checking out all my other videos, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, everything like that. But it's crazy, right? Isn't that a little weird? Like, you get told by everybody, no. A woman isn't too emotional. A woman isn't too emotional. And I'm not out here claiming that, oh my gosh, women are too emotionally. That's not necessarily what I'm claiming. But that's what people were coming at me saying. And now we have a lot of liberals that are going crazy. And the craziest thing about it is how uninformed they are. Happy Friday, everybody. And this is a fun Friday show. It's what I'm going to call these from now on, Fun Fridays. And that's why I have my good friend joining me today, Josh Bender, to talk about all the hecticness that we see, the craziness, the insanity, and the fallout after Donald Trump's triumphant win earlier this week. How you doing, Josh?
I am doing great. It has been a hectic but fun week, and I think fun has been the overall. I mean, we're having fun again, and I think I'm happy. I'm happy we're having fun again.
Absolutely. We are having fun. And everybody, if you guys want to join in on the fun, like I said, don't forget to comment. Let me know what you guys are thinking about. What have you guys seen? Have you guys seen any crazy liberals on your social media, and how are they reacting to all this? It's quite insane to see. But Josh, I know that there was a lot that you kind of wanted to break down, thoughts on the election, and I want to just talk about all that kind of stuff. What have you been seeing? What have you been hearing? What are you thinking out in Nevada?
Well, Nevada is interesting because we split ticket. We elected Trump for president, but we more than likely will have a Rosen as senator again. Sam Brown did unfortunately lose. I had a feeling that was going to happen, but
why did you have a feeling that was going to happen?
So very quickly, Dems and even other Republicans gave him a very catchy nickname, which was Scam Brown, and I think that stuck with a lot of people because there was this allegation that he had taken some political money for a personal slush fund, and I think he had this overall idea that he was kind of a carpetbagger, because I know he ran for something in Texas and then he lost there, and then he came here and he tried to run in 2022 and then didn't win the primary, then finally won this primary. So it seems like he's just been constantly trying different things in different locations. And so I just didn't see a lot of support for him. I mean, I think people were hopeful, but I just didn't see it happen. I think Rosen was too much of an institution, and she ran really good ads talking about her bipartisanship and really talking about, she challenged Joe Biden and she did this, and she really focused on, I think, things that were more appealing to people who don't necessarily do their research or research as much. They went, okay, yeah, that makes sense. And so they went for her.
Yeah. I want to know, okay, so this is a weird thing to me. In prior elections, we would get multiple days, if not weeks, until Nevada's election results came out. Why this time did it not take that much time?
So I honestly don't know. I mean, I think last time, so my theory is 2020, and this is kind of a fun theory, but I always say, I think 2020 Kanye won, and they were trying to find a way to get rid of that because they took way too long. But in actuality, that's not what happened. I don't know what takes so long. I mean, Nevada's still counting to this day. It's taking forever. It could be because technically they have until today to turn in ballots, even if they're not posted by the 5th. Technically, they have 3 days after. So maybe they're still waiting. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know what takes them so long. They should put all the blackjack dealers on it to count votes. I mean, I swear, maybe we should vote with cards. Maybe then we can count a little quicker. I also know we had a lot of problems with lines. We had people who weren't voting until in line till like 9 o'clock at night. So it did take a bit of time to get people through lines, which again, for Las Vegas, we should be able to do that. But yeah, I don't know what takes us so long. I genuinely don't. I know in my county, it's paper ballots, day of, pretty quick. They got the results out pretty quickly.
No, absolutely. And I want to look at a lot of this kind of stuff. Obviously, we see some of these. That's 270 to win. I wanted to make sure we can compare some of these maps to 2020, because the thing is like, you think about what has happened in this last week is quite crazy in and of itself. But then you compare it to the entire election of 2020, and it makes you really wonder. It makes you ask a lot of questions as to what actually happened in 2020. 2020, you can see here, Joe Biden seemed to really blow things out, and having a estimated 81 million votes, as compared to Obama in both terms didn't get more than 69,000 or 69 million. Kamala got like 60,000, 66 million. I don't know why I keep thinking thousand, but 66. Then all of a sudden, somehow Joe Biden gets 81 million votes. Is that a little weird?
You know, I get what you're saying, but also Trump had close to 77 million too. I mean, he had a lot too. And
according to this right now, he's at about 70.
73.
Yeah, 74, 70,
Yeah.
73 and a half, 74.
Well, I think in 2020, though, I mean, what it came down to was there were states that just mailed ballots to everyone. And so we had these people who were non-traditional voters who just went, oh, you mean the ballot was mailed to me and I could just answer it and mail it back? Oh, I'm going to do it then. I think that's what it came down to, was just ballots were sent to everybody, or mostly everybody. And so people who normally wouldn't go out and vote said, well, I could just fill it out, put it in my mailbox and call it a day. And so they did. I think that's why we see such an inflation of numbers, because of the protocol. And then even then, it was, oh, it can be turned in 2 weeks late and all this stuff in some states. I mean, there was a lot of that where people went, well, I wouldn't normally vote, but I'm going to go do it now. They just made it easier for everyone. And so I think that's why we saw that inflation in 2020, where now in 2024, a lot of these states have fixed those rules and those laws, and they've gone back and retroactively changed a lot. And so, it's to the point where you do have to make at least more of an effort to go vote. I mean, even here in Nevada, if you register, they send you a ballot. You could still turn it. Like, I turned it down. I didn't want a mail-in ballot, but you still have to take an effort to go register. And there was a lot more. It was a lot more to it than just, oh, you're over 18, cool, here's a ballot, and
No, absolutely. And as of right now, I am working on getting a better 2020 map up, because I think that there's a lot of things that we need to look at when it comes to the outcome of this election. We're going to get to some of the liberal reactions to both the official ones and the ones on social media, etc. But I want to get this up because I want to look at the gains that Trump had, because obviously we look at this map right here. We see it's fairly red. Arizona at almost 80% reporting, likely going Trump. Nevada, 96 reporting. I'm pretty sure most outlets have called it for Trump.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been for some reason right here. And so
I think Decision Desk has called all of the races.
Okay. So, but I just like the interactive map because I can really see it. And so when I'm trying to get the New York Times one pulled up here so I can actually look at the from 2020. Because when you look at this one here, you can see, like, look at Illinois. So Illinois is where we're both from. This is 2020. And you see Joe Biden versus Donald Trump in 2020. Joe Biden won 57.5% of the vote. 57.5 to Trump's 40.6. This is 3.5 million votes to 2.5 million. Then you go to this year. Let me get back to this tab. Then you go to this year and you look at Illinois, and Kamala only gets 2.8 million. So that's losing almost like basically 750,000 votes in Illinois, and loses 4%. As Trump is now getting 45%, which is an up from his 40 back in 2020. And so even where he lost, he still won.
Right. Well, and it's interesting because I was just listening to Shapiro talk about this a little bit, and he was saying, he only lost by 9 in Illinois. He only lost by 5 points in New Jersey.
Yeah.
In New Jersey, we can
go over there. We can see. Yeah, he only lost by it was 200,000 votes.
Yeah. Exactly. It's not that much. California, I think he went from like 15 to 11 points loss. You're
This is
seeing
57 to 40, and then we can go to the 2020 map here, and we can see, yeah, it does look. Oh, yeah, this is obviously 2020. In 2020, he didn't even hit the 40%. He lost by 5 million votes, and that's crazy because that's where Kamala is from. Like that's, and I feel like that's a really important distinction to make, because when you talk about this, Kamala, of course, is from California. Like you could make the argument, you could be like, oh, well, like people just weren't motivated to vote for Kamala. They were more motivated for Joe. First off, crazy to think that they'd be more motivated for somebody who's genuinely brain dead than Kamala, who is just lacking significant brain cells to be considered a functional human. But you look at this, you see, and you see that even in her home state, she's losing 2 million votes as opposed to she's only winning by 2 million votes. As when you look at the 2020 map, Trump lost by 5 million votes. It's an insane margin to lose. Like what happened, Josh, in your humble opinion?
I mean, in my opinion, there's a simple term. It's the economy, stupid. And that's what it came down to. There was the economy. I think it's a couple pronged approach. I think number one, the economy. The economy is in shambles. People are unable to live. They can't buy houses. The rent is up. Everything, the cost of everything is up. And so there's all these people going, okay, I can't put food on my table. And we have Harris over here talking about the trans issue or threats to democracy. At this point, I'll vote for Stalin himself if he's going to make the economy better. You know, like,
yeah,
I'm obviously not comparing Trump to Stalin, but you know what I mean? People are willing to vote for, if the Joker was running right now and he said, I'll fix the economy, I might give him a chance, you know, even though Harris is probably close to the Joker with that cackle. So, I mean, there's the economy, there's the idea of, I mean, I think you see that there's a big gender gap, male versus female. I think males are sick of being told that they were useless and that they were, you know, underappreciated in the society in such a way that they said, you know what, I'm going to vote for the guy that, you know, I think despite Trump being a billionaire, you look at him and go, yeah, but he's a normal guy who likes McDonald's. You know, you look at JD Vance and you go, yeah, he's a normal guy who can joke about cocaine with Theo Vaughn. You know, like there's just stuff like that where you go, man, and maybe I like this guy a little more. Where Harris is, you know, separating she has all the, you know, black trans women for Harris. And it's like, why are we separating so much? I think that's a huge one.
Well, and that's what I really boiled it down to, because I really believe that the reason why Democrats lost, because here's the thing, is like what I think is the purpose of our American constitutional representative republic. Notice on democracy isn't ever in there. Just to be clear for every viewer out there, what I would have really liked, I would have liked to see a competitive election. I really would have liked to see a competitive election, but Democrats have two issues, one of which is the underlying issue of the former. The initial is that they don't listen to their constituents.
No.
They don't listen to their constituents. Their constituents literally tell them, they say, things aren't working for me. I don't like where this is going. There are problems in our country and we're going the wrong way. And they say, no. You have a right to bodily autonomy and we need to care about abortion and blah, and all that kind of crap. Come on, listen, they're telling you we care about the economy. We don't like the way that things are going, and they don't listen. And that gets to the underlying issue. The underlying issue is that Democrats in power see every average person, the blue collar, the farmer, even just the average businessman. They see them all. If you're not in their club of powerful people, they see you as stupid.
Right.
That's really what it is. You're too stupid to know what you need.
Right.
I'm going to take care of your health care because you're too stupid to know. I'm going to take care of your food. I'm going to fix price gouging and regulate everybody. I'm going to do all that because you're too stupid to figure it out. That's what the Democrats say. And if you don't believe me, let's take a look. I played this clip the other day on my show with the Kamala thing. I think it might have gotten lost when she was doing in the everything that we were talking about, that I was talking about when it came to her concession speech. But I want to play this clip because this is her with Brett Baer, this infamous interview, the first time she actually got questioned on anything. And here's an example of when she basically said, everybody, you're too stupid. Here's this.
Of Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become,
power.
but listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me.
Blah, 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 blah. She's saying right there. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. Come on. You know what I'm talking about. No one knows what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
But he says at the beginning, he even brings it up on screen. He says, everybody believes that we're on the wrong track. People in your own party believe we're on the wrong track. What are you going to do about it? And she still comes out and says, I have no problem with Joe Biden. I have no issue. Like you know what I'm talking about. Everything's great. Everything's hunky dory. Just let me handle it. I'm the government and I'm here to help. And she believes that everybody out there is too stupid to live their lives on their own. And so what is the Democrats' problem? It's that they believe that you're stupid.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, look, it's to the point where they're saying, yeah, I love when they say, don't believe your own eyes and your own experiences. Look at the statistics. Well, when the statistics aren't showing in my pocketbook, when they aren't showing in my finances, I'm not going to believe them. And I hate to say that because I am someone who believes in statistics, of course, but it doesn't always reflect. If they're saying all this, it's not going to reflect. I even got into this conversation with someone yesterday on Facebook. A lefty breaking down who was like, well, you obviously don't understand econ. It takes 4 years for things to happen. And I go, no, it takes a year. Maybe 2.
It can also depend significantly on the president and everything like that, and the policy. Like, here's the thing: is if you shove out like billions of dollars into, like, let's take COVID for example. It took probably pretty not. I don't want to say quickly, but relatively quickly in terms of economic decisions. It didn't take too long for us to start seeing the effects of inflation when we started handing out checks.
Right.
When we just started printing more money and handing out checks, the market reacted pretty quickly because all the businesses were like, well, we know everybody just got a few $1,000s.
Right.
So we're going to start charging a little bit more because we know they have the money. We know they're going to. And they also, the businesses themselves weren't doing well because people weren't buying anything. The point, and I see what you're saying, but even further to show that they weren't listening, every poll showed that people wanted substantial change. This one basically said people wanted a revolution. You go even further. What were the issues on people's minds? We go down here. That's Trump's strengths. It's a little bit Harris's strengths. They just thought that her strengths were all based on liberals, race, women. You go on the issues that were most important to people. 60% of Americans, 60% of Americans believe that the top issue was either economy or immigration. And then it's a massive downgrade for abortion, healthcare, climate change. What did Kamala focus on? Abortion, healthcare, climate change.
Right.
She was scrounging up all these fringe, and I don't want to say like the topic of healthcare is necessarily fringe, but in terms of the spectrum of what people cared about in this election, it was a fringe. It was a fringe issue.
But even if you look at healthcare, I think because they both addressed it in different ways. Harris addressed it as, I'm going to make sure that you have government-funded healthcare and that you never lose access to it. Where Trump brought in RFK and says, hey, the pharma companies are poisoning you. and your food companies are poisoning you. So we're going to hold them accountable and make sure that if they poison you, you can sue them. And we're going to make sure that the food is better so that you are more healthy instead of taking another pill. They focused on it in different ways. And, I think there's been this large crunchy revolution, to say the very least, where all these moms especially are starting to look at the food they're getting their kids and just the food in general and saying, we need to change something because this is ridiculous. When red 40 is in everything, we know that causes adverse effects. Like I know I have ADHD, and they say red 40 is apparently terrible for that. It's supposed to make it like 1,000 times worse. And I can tell when I eat certain things, I can't focus, you know? And so I think it's interesting that his answer was, we're going to hold these guys accountable, where Harris was, no, we're just going to pay for it for you. That is right there a huge distinction.
No, you're absolutely right. And when it comes to healthcare too, the entire idea of I think the thing that's interesting is that the topic of like Obamacare was completely was something that was stayed away from this entire time. Mm-hmm. And that would be where I would think Trump would talk about healthcare, would be things about like, what are we going to do about universal basic healthcare, things like that. And he doesn't. Why does he not? Because he sees, he probably has people behind him seeing it's not really the top issue. And so we'll talk about some things that are, and we'll also have, what he also did is, for some of those fringe issues, he brought out names and brought in people that were going to go out and be surrogate speakers for him on those important issues, because they were taken as more expert than him. So you have RFK Jr., who made it a staple of, let's get people healthy. Let's get people moving. Let's talk about what's in these vaccines. Can we be skeptical of them? What's in our food? What do we eat? And he went out and talked about it. Then you have more of a fringe issue like free speech. And he had a litany of people like Elon Musk, who had revitalized Twitter, and he became a surrogate speaker, so that it wasn't that he was ignoring people that cared about the fringe issues, but he wasn't making it the focal point of his campaign by any means.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, I think another one was like the forever wars and foreign policy. He brings in Tulsi Gabbard, who can speak to that. Even the free speech issue, she spoke about her censorship. After she gave the smackdown to Kamala in 2020. Google censors her entire campaign so that she can't get any clicks or money or things like that. She's able to speak to that. She's able to speak to, as a soldier, speak to the foreign policy and the forever wars. What the military she joined is not the military we have anymore, and things like that. And I think she's another one who was just a great surrogate for the campaign.
No, absolutely. He had her and I think this is super important too, because I attacked Kamala significantly for having all these different celebrities and people come and speak at her events and endorse her. And I think it's really important to recognize that distinction, that Trump brought in people that were then speaking about issues that they had like serious and personal experience with.
Right.
Kamala brings in the best case scenario of somebody who came in and spoke about an issue that they had a serious relationship with would have been Eminem coming and talking about free speech.
Yeah.
And he spoke for a minute and a half at a rally to introduce Obama.
Right.
Like he didn't really he barely spoke at all. And the rumor mill is currently saying that her $1 billion campaign, $1 billion+ campaign, like you said, Josh, in our text.
Yeah, I sent that.
Apparently she's bankrupt. She's in debt.
Like $20 million in debt. And one of the co-campaign chairs is basically like, yeah, we handled finances terribly, and we people. I think the biggest thing is they said they paid for all these concerts. They paid for Katy Perry. They paid for will.i.am. They paid for Beyonce.
Which is crazy because Beyonce didn't even sing.
Right. They didn't come out of their own fruition. They paid them. All the TikTok influencers who are getting paid tons of money to just shill for them. I mean, thousands of dollars per video, it seemed like. Yeah. It's like, what did you think was going to happen? It's never a good sign when you have to pay for your support. And I think she's the prime example that she paid for a lot of her public support, and look how much it failed. And now her campaign's potentially $20 million in debt.
Absolutely. And speaking of social media influencers that got paid way too much to shill for the Harris campaign, I've been wondering myself. You know that guy Harry Sisson?
Yeah.
I've been wondering, I haven't seen it yet, but I've wanted to know what exactly he thinks of all this.
I saw his video.
Oh, well, we're going to look at it, take a
Yeah.
look and listen to Harry Sisson right here, right now. And America failed women.
Oh, I didn't see this video. I saw a different video from him.
This is the first one. This came out on the night of the election.
Oh, okay.
So the election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris has not been called yet. We do not know who the winner is, but it is pointing in one direction. And it's not final, but I just wanted to say that America failed women tonight, primarily. Trump has insulted women, berated them, has been found liable in court for assaulting a woman, and he took women's reproductive rights away. And instead of standing up to that, people voted for it. And we failed our daughters, our mothers, our sisters, our wives tonight. America failed them. We failed them. It is unfortunately the reality of the situation. So I'm sorry to everybody out there who will be impacted by what may come.
Man, it's crazy. It is crazy that there is a person, there's a living, breathing, sentient vagina that does like this level of political, that is a mangina, everybody. Like I'm sorry to any time I've ever said that there shouldn't be tampons in men's restrooms, because he's the reason for them. He is the reason for them. He needs them to soak up all the shit that just spews out of his mouth. Like, this man he's not just an asshole. He's not just a vagina. He encapsulates the whole taint and everything. That is Harry Sisson for you.
And this video is different because I saw another video he posted the morning after.
Oh,
this
one?
No, he posted one that he was like, look, he said, look, Trump won, Harris lost. That is democracy. It's terrible. I disagree. He goes, but I will say, I think he even said, he won fairly. I hope he does well. I doubt it, but I hope he does well. And we're gonna keep fighting. And I thought that video was actually one of his best videos, being like, you know what, I'm gonna congratulate Trump. I'm gonna congratulate Vance. I hope he does well. I hope they do well, but I doubt it. We're gonna continue fighting for next time. I go, that's a good message. I think that was one of his better messages. Maybe,
but maybe it got deleted because it doesn't fit the narrative.
Potentially, I don't know.
He's not supposed to congratulate them. Only Kamala is supposed to do that. Well, let's see what this one. The resistance continues. Let's see what this one is.
Here's the good news about the 2024 presidential election, and there's not much. We're all very sad right now. We're all very disappointed. We're all very shocked. But there's one piece of good news that I can think about right now, and it's that the resistance continues. The resistance against Donald Trump and their awful Republican policy continues. The Republicans have this idea in their head right now that you, me, and everybody else are just going to lay down. We've given up. We're not doing it anymore. Wrong. We're still here. We're still fighting. We mourn for a week. We get our thoughts together. We recalibrate, and we get back out there. Like, if Republicans think that women, people of color, members of the LGBTQ plus community are just going to sit down and let them do their thing, no, sorry, not happening. And here's the thing. I know for a fact that if Donald Trump tries to hurt the American people, make our lives harder, we will give him hell. We will make his presidency impossible if he tries to pass policy and legislation that takes rights away from people. I know you want to be part of that. I want to be part of that. And we're going to do it together. So let's not lie down. Let's get back in the game. Man, I'm so hyped up and excited. Let's do this together, man.
Oh man, okay, I gotta be honest. That was like the least genuine.
That was that was sitcom.
Lie down. Let's get back in the game, man. I'm so hyped up and excited.
Man, I'm so hyped and excited. Oh man, can you feel how hyped up and excited I am? Okay, Harry.
That was Netflix level of bad writing. And look, here's the thing. I don't want to be too hard on Harry because I mean I think he's like the age of some of my students even, which is crazy to say. I think he's
I think he's like 21.
Is he? Oh,
I think he's a college age kid.
Oh, then who cares? I'm like fun of him.
I think he just looks like a pussy.
He looks. I mean, I look young too. I can't even, But look, I mean, the thing about him,
pussy,
is people make fun of. I don't know if you saw recently. Bryce Hall has been like he challenged him to a debate, and then Harry Sisson was like, "I'll debate you, but only if I can box you." And then Bryce Hall said, "Yeah, okay. You want to get in the ring with me, a professional boxer? Do it. I want to punch you in the face for a couple minutes." He's like, you have such a punchable face. I just want to hit you. And everyone was like, "You're threatening violence." He goes, "He challenged me to a boxing match. What was I supposed to say? No." Like, and then of course Harry backed down. It's look, there's a couple of things I want. First of all, he says, do you think people of color are going to stand down? Well, no, actually, they voted for Trump in record numbers. They're pretty happy with this. I mean, Latino males, 55% of the vote went to Trump. They're pretty happy with this. Do you think women are going to, stand out? He actually made large gains with women, especially young women. The one demographic he did lose was LGBTQ voters for sure. I mean,
But who cares? Who cares?
It's like, it's the one demographic he lost. Every other demographic he gained with, I think, except for Asian men as well. I think he went down on Asian men. But like, yeah, and with the last video, there's one thing it's been making me really upset over the last couple of days because I've been seeing all these people talking about I voted for my daughters and my daughter's future and this and that. You know what? No, I voted for my daughter. I don't have a daughter yet. I hope to have one in the future. I'd love to have a family one day. I voted for my daughter. I voted for her to have the job that she wants because she's qualified, not because of DEI. I voted for my daughter to be able to play sports with other women and not get accolades taken from them because a man is in there who's going to hurt them. I voted for my daughter to be able to go to college for much cheaper, to have the life that I want to give her because I can afford to do it. That's who I voted for. I didn't just vote for myself. I thought of my future. I thought of my future daughter. I voted for my daughter. I did not vote for my daughters. Yes, I didn't vote because I wanted my daughter to be able to abort a baby. I voted because I want my daughter to have a good, successful, happy life, be able to be successful in her own right, not just be given positions from DEI and things like that. That is why I voted. So it's been really annoying over the last couple of days seeing all these women be like, I voted for my daughter. No, you didn't. You voted because you're kind of being selfish, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I voted for my daughter.
Well, and can we also walk that out for a second too? Because it's not just let's think about that. Not only how weird is it alone to say that I voted for my daughter because I want her to be allowed to get an abortion. First off, that in and of itself is weird, but let's walk it out a little bit further because that means if you're voting for your daughter because that's basically you saying I voted for my daughters because I think that guy that bones her at college, I think that he should be able to get out of it pretty easy and just pay a few $100 so that we can kill their sinful love child.
I mean, it
happens. Just, that's so messed up. You're a greasy dad if that's what you said. And if you're saying if you got a little baby girl at home and you're just like, oh yeah, I want to make sure that she can just pump and dump it. That's what he's saying.
Right.
It's disgusting. You're disgusting, and you probably shouldn't be a father if that's what you voted for.
Right. And it's like, listen, I've spoken to plenty of women, and I understand that the issue behind it and this and that, and and the thing I've said is, look, he's not going to take it away. He's not going to make it a federal issue. He's made that abundantly clear. Guess what? Vote in your state. Here in Nevada, the abortion amendment passed. It is now codified in the Constitution of Nevada. Abortion up to the 24th week. Mm-hmm. That passed. That won. Okay. Guess what? People got to have their voices heard on that. It did not pass over. It was a very close, very, very, very close win. But that's the joys of it, is we got to vote on it and say, do we like it or not? Other than, and if you don't like it, you can move states. You can go to Utah. You can go to, I don't think Arizona's a better one. I think you can go to Utah. It's right there. You can go to other states and have better policy aligns more with you. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, yes, to start. I mean, I think I really, my hope is that we continue to scale back the accessibility of abortion
Sure.
in the United States. And I hope that Trump even starts talking more like that. And maybe even not necessarily, if he wants to stick to the promise that he's going to keep it as a states' rights issue, that's perfectly fine. If he wants to stick to that, I think that he should start incentivizing states, though, to scale back their abortion procedures or their pro-abortion policy,
Right.
because that's the way. I mean, that's the way that I agree in the sense of in the entire sense of the idea that we should not outright just do a federal ban right now, significantly because I want people to be on our side. I think that's important to get people onto the side, because it doesn't matter if you just tell everybody, no, you're not allowed to have an abortion, and they don't understand why you're morally bankrupt if you believe in abortion is an okay practice. Then you're gonna fail consistently, and then there's still going to be a constant fight to legalize the morally bankrupt practice of abortion. But if we slowly increment it more and more and more to where it becomes socially acceptable, more and more socially acceptable to oppose abortion in every instance, then eventually we'll get to a point to where it barely even really needs to be policy, but we can make it policy because it's just really understood that it's a morally bankrupt practice.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
when it comes to this video, I want to wrap up this video before we get into any other conversation. Is I really hate, and this is something I'm going to start a new segment on the show. It's not going to be right now, but I'm going to start a new segment because this inspired me. I'm going to start a new segment on the show where I debunk a lot of these kinds of things, and it's going to be really important, especially coming up to Thanksgiving, because we have these things where he talks about, like, you're going to get your rights taken away. You're going to get your rights taken away. And this is something I've heard from a lot of these lefties complaining online, is there's women that come out and I woke up this morning with no rights. I woke up this morning with no rights. And it's really hard to even argue against that. And the reason why it's hard to argue against it isn't because it's a good argument. It's because it's an argument that has no basis in truth. And I want to help talk to people about how do you refute that? How do you have a conversation with somebody who is so brainwashed by the liberal mentality? Because to some extent, I blame Harry, because I think Harry knows better. I think he's steeped to know better, that and is equipped with the knowledge to know better that no right is even being proposed to be taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk to people about, how do you talk with somebody who is so brainwashed? Because it's not their fault. They've had MSNBC on a little too long. They've had CNN on a little too long. They listen to Beyonce. They listen to Kamala. They listen to these people that are supposed to be, at least in some way, I don't even want to say truth tellers, but they're supposed to, at least when they have a platform of such size and they use it to speak politically, you would expect them to at least be giving honest information. And so when they come out and say you're going to lose rights, that's not only disingenuous, it's also dangerous. It is dangerous to say,
no, it is
to take rights away, because he's not. There is no evidence to show that he is taking any rights away. Even abortion was an interpreted right through this is a snippet for everybody. If you think that Donald Trump is going to take your right to abortion away, abortion under Roe v. Wade was an implied right of the 14th Amendment. When I say implied, it means that it was interpreted through language in the 14th Amendment to believe that you had a right to privacy, which a right to privacy in and of itself is an implied right. And so then you get even further into that, and then you believe, oh, if I have an implied right to privacy, that means I have an implied right to do whatever with my doctor that he deems okay. Meaning your implied right to privacy implies a right to an abortion. And that's what Roe v. Wade essentially did.
Yeah.
And then Dobbs came in and said, you don't totally, that's not really what it says. And even the right to privacy is a little shaky, but that's not what we're going to touch on this one. And they're still kind of debating a right to privacy and how much that, and to what extent it comes through within the Supreme Court, within our court system. And the reason why this is really important to understand is because then when you have these overarching broad statements of people saying your rights are going to be taken away, no, because your rights in America, and Josh, you can back me up on this, right?
Yeah.
Our rights don't come from the government. Who do they come from?
They come from God.
Exactly. God. Not a Christian God necessarily. Not
nature's God, I believe, is the wording they used.
Exactly. And there's a massive a lot of literature that you can read on the theory of nature's God. Who is nature's God? How does that play into our role of the legal system? Everything like that. And you can go look all that up. And I can give paraphrasing summary of that. But our rights come from God, meaning, and if that is to be true, and that our rights come from nature's God, then our rights are natural, meaning that whether or not the government allows you to do something, that right exists. Right. So let's take free speech, for example. You have a right to free speech. If the government came out tomorrow and said that you are not allowed to protest them, that you are not allowed to say bad things about the government, your right to free speech still exists. But the government is standing between you and said right.
Right.
So when we add an amendment to the Constitution and says you have a right to XYZ, it's not them saying we're granting you this right. It's them saying you've always had this right. We have stood in your way.
Right.
And so this gets us back to when you have people saying they are taking your rights away. This is the fundamental flaw with leftist ideology and with secular ideology. When you say a God doesn't exist, when you are blatantly atheist and say there is no such thing as religion, religion doesn't exist, well, then technically your rights don't even exist.
Right.
So if you want to talk about what takes away your rights, it's not the government, because the government didn't give them to you. If you're if you think rights are being taken away, you're taking them away yourself.
Right. I mean, that's one thing I made it, I do a whole unit just on the Constitution with my class and with my students, and I go over the Bill of Rights. And one thing I make it abundantly clear is I go, look, the government does not grant you rights. That is not how this works. They are granted to you. They're granted to you by God or nature's God or the divine or nature or the universe, whatever you want to call it. It means it goes above government. The government does not grant you them. I go, all the government's supposed to do is literally say we can infringe upon them. I go, now they do all the time. There's no denying that they do infringe upon rights from time to time. This does happen. I go, but they're not supposed to. And let's just be real here. Thomas Jefferson made it very clear. When they do, our job is to fight back. Whether that be through the ballot box or be through actual armed revolt. Obviously, I'm not going to call for armed revolt. We're not there. I don't think we will be ever. But he also, he makes it clear you have the right to if you really feel you need to, but you got to make it clear. You have to lay out why you're doing it, and you got to do it. But even then, when you're voting and you're saying you're validating my, the response to Trump was, or the reason Trump won is because it was a response to the censorship regime for sure, and saying you can't say that. People said, stop telling me what I can and can't say. I'm done. I'm voting for the guy who says you could say whatever you want. Go nuts.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And building off of all of that, I want to talk about how it's just simply how we are constantly being lied to, not only being lied to, but we are constantly hearing from people that have been lied to, and how these lies perpetuate. And so one of which is the rights, but then we also have things like this. And so when you see these people that are suffering this serious Trump derangement syndrome, which we'll watch a few more. And this is one that I think actually, this is on CNN. So this isn't just some dummy on TikTok or something. This is like a person who actually somehow got on cable news, freaking out and repeating verbatim a lie that has been debunked on multiple occasions.
If you look at the arc of the Biden presidency, he was in really good shape until August of 2021. When Afghanistan happened, he went under 40, she went under 40, and they really lived there until the end of the press.
Why?
He's still there.
Why?
Look, I'll tell you why.
Because he ran and told us that the adults were back in charge, and that was the opposite.
Yeah, they
of
were
that.
because
and
Donald Trump was a child.
And you know what else?
Yeah.
And you know what else?
He's a
The fact that they wouldn't give these 13 service members' families the time of
bullshit,
day.
dude.
Time of day.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but Donald Trump.
Also, by the way, that's a major FCC violation right there that he just said shit on, and so they're going to get like $100,000 fine for that.
Hates veterans. He called them suckers and losers. He did. He absolutely, despite he has his
there's no evidence to prove that. There was one person that had been fired by Donald Trump, came out after his firing that said that, and then there was several of people that were on that plane, on that trip, that came out and said that didn't happen.
Also, the big difference is the person who said he said it was anonymous. The people who said he didn't say it used their name. That shows me everything I need to know.
Whole life. He has his entire life.
I know you're super emotional. I just,
of course I am. I'm terrified.
I'm telling you, the political reality is that when they made that decision,
it doesn't matter. When you don't admit
that
Donald Trump hates veterans. You don't admit it. You deny a man, Chief John Kelly, a Marine. You deny. You say he lied.
You're still campaigning.
You say he lied.
Yeah, but if you so you saying he lied also then says that like 10 other veterans and people that were working for Trump on that plane at that time, they also lied. If you're saying if you're not denying that Chief John Kelly lied, then you're saying all these other people lied. He negates the entire opposite of what his statement implies.
It's not over. It'll never be over. I want to hear what It'll never be over. You wish.
The political reality is when they made that decision and everyone realized, oh my gosh, these aren't the competent adults that we were promised.
Donald Trump is.
And then when you pile on top of it the decisions that made inflation worse, it was a compounding interest of political crap over time that they could never get out of. And that's how she lost the race.
There was a bipartisan consensus to get out of Afghanistan. That wasn't the point. It was the way it was done.
Decision to
no, hold on. It was the implementation. It was the fact that they took out our soldiers first instead of last, which is you would think would be common sense. And again, it's like you said, we thought the adults were in the room. That's why people voted for Biden. A return to normalcy, a return to competence. He's a lifelong public servant. We thought we're going to get normal, we're going to get competent. And that's what
we did. We did. And if in the veterans community,
Afghanistan doesn't signal that.
Afghanistan, the wars in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, the Republican policies that led to those wars, the idea that Joe Biden made the final difficult decision, and his administration and his military leaders. I mean, you guys live on the tippy top of bullshit mountain. If you actually think that so many people think that the pullout of Afghanistan was the pivot point, are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, I can read a chart and I can read a poll. I guess you can't. But the reality is when he made that decision,
your petty insults are so weak, dude. You have no idea. Like, I don't even know.
His petty insults? Petty insults.
Understand if you hear yourself talking. Look, you can laugh all you want, but like I can't read a chart. Like it's just so hacky. It's so uninteresting.
Look, the reason that we brought this up is
man. Okay, so I want to talk because obviously that man is the one that looks like the mad scientist from Nightmare Before Christmas. Is quite unhappy with the claim that that a huge pivot point in Joe Biden's downfall and the downfall of the Democratic Party, what really trended negative was the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Yeah.
Josh, what do you think about that? That's actually not like a theory that I had necessarily heard. I obviously don't think the Afghanistan withdrawal was good, nor do I think it gained Biden any points, but to consider that to be like the pivot point, the point at which people were like, I'm fed up. What do you think about that?
So I actually saw Scott Jennings. He was the one guy who was going after the so-called comedian. He was on CNN like the night of the election. I was watching CNN after the election because I thought it was funny, and I'd like to watch them melt down. I thought,
they were so funny. That MSNBC.
I thought Van Jones was gonna shoot himself right then and there. He looked so pissed.
Sad little puppy. Puppy.
But
sad puppies, all of them sad puppies. And I'll be honest, not only are they sad puppies, they're going to be happy puppies when they see what I do for their wallets. I'll tell you, all of you,
literally.
Sad puppies. I'm still going to help them. Sad puppies, I hate them. They hate you, but we're going to love them. We're going to help them.
Literally. But I think that's an interesting point because I think, I mean, I remember. I mean, we watched the Afghanistan withdrawal. I mean, I remember it very vividly. I remember hearing the story about the 13 service members, seeing their ages, and I was 22 at the time, and seeing 19-year-old kids die in a war that they were born for. It broke my heart. And I remember that was the moment I went, and even me, I obviously didn't support Biden in 2020, voted against him, but that was the moment I went from, he's not, he's not going to be good. Maybe things are going to get worse too. I'm angry and he's incompetent. I think even me, that's when I went from to he's incompetent. And yeah, I think he makes a good point. He ran on the adults are back in the room. The adults are back in charge. Well, clearly not, because I think he's right. It's common sense that, the other guy, I think his name was Coleman, he said, it's common sense, I would think, that you take the soldiers out last, that you leave the armed soldiers there to protect people. Yeah, I mean, a child would think of that. I mean, genuinely, a child would be able to.
Yep.
And I think
he brought like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, Trump said, he goes, who do you take out first? And he goes, you take out the soldiers last. And he goes, look, a kid can figure this out. I mean, I don't know how he didn't know this. And I think if you look at the data, it does show, yeah, he dropped below 40 and he never recovered. Neither did Harris. He continually just dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped. I mean, he's one of the lowest in history right now. Harris was one of the lowest in history. I mean, they just continue to drop. They can never get above 40. And if you can't get above 40% approval, I mean, that's rough. I mean, Trump struggled to get above 40. Don't get me wrong, but that's rough. It's rough. Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I think that actually is a good theory. I don't know much about the Scott Jennings guy, but he also gave another really good analysis the night of.
I saw that, yeah.
I think whoever, and he's obviously worked for George W. I mean, I think he's right.
I think because I don't know where he lies, so I can't endorse everything he says. But one thing I will say is that every time I've seen him on CNN, he seems to be the voice of reason, and I think that's he's honestly the main CNN clips I ever see are of him, because it's usually him coming against some wacko liberal, and he's not necessarily coming out and being like, oh, Republicans are great, conservative policy is great. He just comes out and he says like, this is what's going wrong. Like,
right.
You could be mad about that I tell you that Americans don't really care about you being able to cut off children's genitals, and they'd much rather care about what's in their wallet.
Yeah.
But you can hate me for saying that, but it's true.
The night of, I remember he said, he's like, he goes, maybe Democrats will learn that calling half the country trash isn't smart. That labeling half the country Nazis isn't smart. Maybe labeling him a Hitler lover isn't smart. And then, maybe Democrat elites, it really shows this. And then Van Jones was like, well, it was Republicans who said that he loved Hitler. And he goes, all right, let me change course. Maybe the elites are really the ones who should shut their mouths and listen to the people. And I'm like, I love that he said that. He was like, no. And again, he worked for George W., a political elite, no doubt. I mean, we all know that the Bush family is a huge family. But I love that he was like able to point out that maybe you should listen to your voters. It's a really simple thing.
No, absolutely. And speaking of voters, I want to talk a little bit briefly, Josh. I don't know how much time you have, so just always let me know.
I got a couple minutes, yeah.
I want to talk about Trump obviously gained with every single demographic. I even played a clip the other night that showed Jake Tapper being really, really surprised that Kamala didn't gain in a single county for Democrats nationwide. There wasn't a single county nationwide, at least when they were looking at it. Maybe it's still undetermined, but at least on election night, there wasn't a single county that Kamala got more votes than Joe Biden did in 2020. And so we look at these demographics, and Republicans, especially under Trump, had been gaining significantly with minority voters. Obviously, men, period, have always been pretty Republican, non-college educated, pretty Republican. Young voters had obviously a huge, young men really turned out for Trump this time, which I think helped with that. But then this one, so we said a huge reason why Donald Trump lost in 2020 was he had a problem with women, especially white suburban women. Well, you look here, he won with women at +2. And then you even look at the NBC News one that we got right here, if it decides to open. And you see white women, especially, he got 47% he got 52%. So he overwhelmingly won white women. I have my theories as to why white women especially went for him. What are your thoughts? Why do you think that white women switched back to Trump?
Well, I saw a thing and it made me laugh. It said liberals are shocked to find out that women buy eggs and bread more than they abort their babies. And I think that's what it comes down to. I mean, when I know, at least I know in my family, my dad does grocery shopping, but I've been grocery shopping here, and we're looking at the price of things and going, this is absurd. I can go buy 4 things from the local Smiths, and it's $40, $50, and it's like I'm buying the basics.
Yeah,
it's absurd. I think it's what it comes down to is people are going, I have to choose between feeding my kids or paying my mortgage right now. I need to choose between, buying groceries, buying diapers, or paying off my car. That's a tough decision that they had to do, and so they're looking at the guy and go, man, I remember being in 2020 when, I mean, hell, you and me, we used to drive around burning gas in 2020 because it was $1.30.
Yeah.
We're like, let's just go drive and let's go nuts because we could. I wouldn't dream of doing that today. My tank's at an eighth a tank, and I'm just going to let it keep going until I absolutely have to get it because I can't afford it, And I think white women are seeing that. I mean, I think everyone saw that, but I think white women saw that, and I don't know. I mean, I just don't think they were going to go for her just because she was a woman.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll agree with you on, I think that the economy mattered to everybody. I do think that the American people are smarter, but vast majority, I shouldn't say all, but I think the vast majority of American people are smart enough to not necessarily say, oh, well, she's a woman, or at least they have a threshold to where they'll vote for a woman if they feel like she's a certain level of competence.
Yeah.
And it might not be the same level of competence they would expect of a man, but Kamala did not meet that threshold. And like things like the Fox News interview proved that.
Yeah.
But what I really think, because generally, women tend to have a much more emotional way of dealing with things. And that's not as a negative. I believe that there is an importance to someone making decisions on a certain level of emotion and having more empathy, having more capability for sympathy, and for caring about others, that I think that men tend not to have. And I think that there is a value to that. And so when we look at the win with white women, I actually think a huge reason for it, and I could probably find statistics to maybe back this up. I don't necessarily have them on me right now, but I think a reason for it are stories like Lake and Riley.
Yeah.
That's why I think white women especially got brought back, because Lake and Riley was the biggest one. Even Joe Biden had to recognize Lake and Riley at the State of the Union. And it became this huge thing. Like, look at what immigration is doing. Like the current policy of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration, Kamala Harris being the border czar, is the but-for cause of Lake and Riley's death. But for our open border, Lake and Riley would not be dead. And then there was stories nationwide of mainly women. Like, we heard significantly of women that were brutally raped and murdered by illegal immigrants, military aged young men. And I think that you had, again, especially white women who saw it and was like, that could be me, or that could be my daughter.
Yeah.
And they took a rationally emotional approach to their decision in voting, knowing that, hey, I might not like the way that Trump talks. He might come off like a dick, and I might not. And I might even think that he doesn't even respect women all that much. You might even have that opinion. But the thing is that Kamala Harris was the border czar, and women are being targeted, raped, and murdered under her leadership over the border. And I know Donald Trump's going to put up the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's the way I see it. That's what won them over.
No, I think it's a fair point too. I mean, yeah, I mean, not non sequitur, but I think interesting is last night we were leaving the store, and my girlfriend was like, "You should have your keys in your hand when you leave," and I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "So you can get right in the car." I'm like, "I've never had to think about that," but it was also because there was kind of a creepy guy following us around, and I was like, I noticed it. I noticed him right away. I was like, all right, this is weird, but I was like, Yeah, I mean, I think there's so yeah, I mean, that's the fear they have when you're seeing it on a large scale and you're hearing the stories of people like Lake and Riley. You know, I think she was my sister's age, or close to my sister's age. You know, and I think yeah, I mean, she was in her last year of college and all this, and it's my sister's too, and I'm like, oh my god, you know, I think maybe that's
and it happened in Georgia too.
Right,
that's the thing. It didn't happen. It didn't happen on the border of Texas and Mexico or Arizona or even California or something. No, it didn't happen there. It happened at a Georgia university.
Well, I think there was one up in Michigan. I mean, my sister's in Wisconsin. That's right there. I mean, like Michigan, the most northern part of this country, it's happening. And so, yeah, I mean, I think even then they go, I think it's a fair point. There's white women or just women in general who are going, man, I really can't. This is ridiculous. I'm not gonna. Yeah, this guy's. Yeah, he's rough around the edges, but also, what man isn't? First of all, what man isn't a little rough around the edges? I mean, trust that. I understand that, but he's rough around the edges, but he's gonna keep me safe at least, and that's a risk I'm willing to take.
No, absolutely, and that's really what I thought, because I had been pondering that one. Because then there's other ones, and we could, because that was the biggest win, because that's what everybody, and I really see the raw score, even on NBC, that Donald Trump won. The majority of white women voted for Donald Trump, especially when that was like who he lost with. That was the reason he lost in 2020, at least according to like pretty much every pundit. That was the reason that was the demographic that he lost the most with. Had he won them comparably, it would have been a more competitive election, according to pretty much every pundit and the numbers. And so that's why I looked at that one. And we're gaining with black men. We're gaining with even black women, Latino men, Latino women, and all other races. We're gaining.
The other one,
even Latino men at 54%. Latino men,
that is the one that I think blew everyone away because I'm already seeing pundits going, oh, well, Latino men are historically pretty misogynist. And it's like, really? You're going to blame the voters? That's your goal? Do you know what? Keep it up. Seriously, at this point, keep it up. Keep blaming the voters. Keep saying that all his voters are racist, misogynist, bigots, and all that. Keep doing it, because you're cruising for a person in 26. No,
you absolutely are. I see it. And but that's what the lefties are doing, is it's all the voters' fault. I mean, you could see it. I wanted to, and again, I don't know how much, Josh, how much time do you got?
I gotta go in a few. I gotta get going for soon.
Okay, we can, I wanted to end the show out. I'm gonna, not right now. I'm going to react to a bunch of different liberals. I was just going to go through the Libs of TikTok page, like right now. And we can look at all these different things and all these ways that these liberals are reacting. But we talk about like blaming the voters. Well, this is like a perfect example of that. This is a bit of a longer video. And so we could just start with it though. Maybe was it that one, or there was another one that I saw where it was,
The View has been pretty good recently.
The View has been, I think it's hilarious to say that it's been good, but that's not even the one. I will go through that one later. But there was The View in which it was the more, I don't want to say Republican, but the more Republican girl lady. And she was like, oh, maybe we should listen to some people about like some of these issues. And Sunny Hostin was not having it. She was like, no. It's because everybody's racist, sexist, etc. And I could not believe it. There's even me. I tweeted about The View at one point. I screenshotted it, I know, so I could find it again. Alyssa Farah, yeah. Because they were talking about Latino men. I could get it real quick, everybody. This is what happens when I just do. This is a fun Friday. If you're watching, everybody, this is a fun Friday. And we're flying by the seat of our pants, talking about the election, having a good time. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Here we go. This is the clip I was thinking about.
And finally, we talk a lot about these different demographics and these assumptions of where they're going to go. Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
It's
the border
misogyny.
crisis is on their doorstep.
Literally.
Percentage for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
It's on the border.
Misogyny.
The border crisis is on their doorstep.
So
and they were begging people to care about it for years. We need to take some lessons.
That's what that was.
The lessons are not.
Knock. Who's there? Oh my gosh, it's Whoopi.
I would be, to be fair, I would be scared if Whoopi knocked on my door.
I would be.
I would scream. Not because she's a woman, just because she's creepy looking. She looks like if Freddy Krueger grew hair, like just a little.
I love it. Knock.
Knock. Who's there? Oh my gosh, it's
I'd be scared.
Okay. Also, the amount of shock I'd have if at my doorstep in the mountains of Virginia, all of a sudden Whoopi Goldberg shows up. Like, I'd be like, am I getting punked right now?
Yeah, I think I would scream and be scared, and then be like, oh, hey, it's Whoopi Goldberg. Like loved your work in Ghost, you know?
I'd be like, oh my God, Whoopi
Sister Act. Sister Act, great movie. Love the Sister Act.
Mama, a Whoopi is behind you. No, what the heck? But again, like you said, it's you have these lefties who are literally like, oh my gosh. Like, you have Alyssa Farah who comes in and is like, maybe it's because like these Latino men, maybe it's because a lot of them are right at the border and they're seeing like all these people come. And then Sunny hosted, no, don't worry. It's sexism, everybody. It's sexism. Like, it's sexism. I'm like, no, how brain dead do you have to be? How removed from reality do you have to be like, oh yeah. It's no, it's misogyny and sexism. It's because all these sexist men like, oh yeah, because that's going to bring them back.
Right. No, I mean, I even saw a thing earlier. This is probably the last thing I have to say, but I saw this earlier. It said Margot Robbie had a son, which good for her. She had a kid. Congratulations to Margot Robbie. Love her. She's a great actress. And all these women were like, oh my God, she had a son. How terrible! Like, how is he going to appreciate that his mom is Barbie the way that a girl would? And one person straight up was like, if I was having a son, I would abort it. And I'm like, and you wonder why men are going towards Trump, who makes them feel heard and like you relate to, or it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
No, absolutely. Well, Josh, I know you got to get out of here. I appreciate you coming on for a little bit and chit chatting with me. And let me know next time you want to come on. Maybe we do Fun Fridays every once a month or something like that.
I could do that. Yeah, I love Fun Friday. I got time. Just not so much this week, but
I got you. We'll do more Fun Fridays. Well, thank you for joining, Josh, and have a good one out in Nevada.
See you, buddy.
See ya. Well, everybody, that was Josh Bender. We're still going to have a little bit more fun on this Friday for a little bit longer because I like going through some of what's going on in the news, and we can just even go what's on Twitter. If you guys have anything you want me to react to or talk about, put it in the chat. I do want to bring up this story real quick too. I just searched Twitter on here. I wanted to go to Libs of TikTok because we're gonna fall back on them for a lot of our fun reactions for the rest of the show today. But I want to talk about this real quick because we've heard this lie that Donald Trump is this major sexist, and we even just heard from Sunny Hostin that the reason why Latino men voted for Trump is because they're all sexist. We're hearing all this stuff. It's sexism. Well, Donald Trump actually is like the most pro-woman president ever. And here's an example of it. Who is Susie Wiles? Trump's pick for chief of staff. In fact, helped shatter a glass ceiling for women. This is the first woman ever to be the chief of staff to the president of the United States. And so following his landslide election victory, President-elect Donald Trump tapped his campaign co-chair, Susie Wiles, to serve as White House chief of staff. Trump announced this on Thursday that Wiles would transition from his campaign manager to helping him lead the country. And she is set to become the first female White House chief of staff in history. The president-elect described Wiles as, quote, tough, smart, innovative, and respected. Crazy. So he actually picks a woman, but wait. I watched MSNBC and they told me that Donald Trump was a sexist and that he was terrible and that he was actually repealing women's rights and that he was going to basically make us into the Handmaid's Tale. What's going on here? Why? This makes no sense to me. What happened? Well, the fact of the matter is, everybody, is that we've been lied to. We've been lied to. Let's be honest with ourselves. We have been lied to. And the weird thing, too, is that some people are crawling out of the woodwork to congratulate Trump on this pick, that some people actually believe. I don't know who the heck thought this dude was. I don't know where this man's been, but Jeb Bush even came out and said Susie Wiles is a great choice for President Trump's chief of staff. That's great. Endorsed by Jeb. Endorsed by Jeb. Yeah, Susie Wiles is endorsed by Jeb Bush. So who exactly is this? Well, the 67-year-old is the daughter of the former NFL player and longtime broadcaster Pat Summerall. She got her start in politics in 1979, working as an assistant for the New York Republican Congressman Jack Kemp, who's also a former NFL player. From there, Wiles went on to work for Ronald Reagan's 1980 presidential campaign as a scheduler and served in the Reagan administration. After a few years in the Reagan White House, Wiles started her political consulting career in Northeast Florida. Wiles married Lanny Wiles, a Florida Republican political operative, in 1985, with whom she shares 2 children. They divorced in 2017, unfortunately. Throughout the 1990s, Wiles served as the chief of staff for the Jacksonville mayor, John Delaney, and then advised Jacksonville Mayor John Payton from 2004 to 2009. 2010, after Rick Scott launched a late bid for Florida governor, Wiles was asked to help. We told her, hey, we got a guy nobody knows. We're behind by 50 points. Come join us, said Kurt Anderson, a top strategist with Scott's campaign, according to CNN. She was able to immediately come in and bring a level of organization that kept people on task. Because Scott won his 2010 gubernatorial election by just over 1 percentage point and served 2 terms as governor before becoming a U.S. senator. 2011, Wiles was hired as the presidential campaign manager for Utah Governor John Huntsman, whose 2012 bid was short-lived. She later helped the Republican nominee Mitt Romney's campaign in Florida. Romney lost the state by less than a point to then President Barack Obama. Wiles wasn't done, and after 2 failed campaign cycles, she was again called in the 2016 cycle to help Trump become the Republican nominee. She was tapped in 2016 with Trump, and she flipped the state on his way to an upset victory over Hillary Clinton. So here's the point. You can see more and more she's helped. She's during the 2020 campaign. However, Wiles and DeSantis reportedly had a falling out, and the Trump campaign cut ties with her at the DeSantis' urging. While Trump still won Florida by a convincing margin. There's more and more and more. Susie will continue to work tirelessly to make America great again. Trump said it is well-deserved honor. Susie Wiles. Here's why this is a really, really good pick for Trump. And I know I just read a lot, but I usually don't like to read that much of articles, and I summarize it a lot more. The reason why I read a lot of that is because Susie Wiles is making headlines as the first female chief of staff in American history for president. But I want to look at more about her because she wasn't chosen because she was a woman. Now, there's clearly a political undertone of the decision in the fact that she's a woman. But that was not the reason. It wasn't like how Kamala Harris was chosen by Joe Biden as a VP because she was a black woman that called him racist on national TV. No, Susie Wiles has a track record of being a strong force for the Republican Party. Help ensuring Florida went red in the 2016 election, helping move that to be a Republican stronghold, working all the way back with Reagan, working and actually helping get now Senator Rick Scott elected as the governor of Florida. Susie Wiles has a experienced and proven track record of success and a resume that is competitive with any male contender for this role. And so why is it so important that Susie Wiles was picked as the chief of staff? Because she is genuinely a good choice. She's not a good female choice. She is a good choice for chief of staff. She is a great pick. Not because she is a woman. She is a great pick that happens to be a woman. Kamala Harris was a bad choice despite being a woman. And this is what we need. I'm not against women in leadership roles. I'm not against women being the chief of staff. And a significant portion of Americans believe that a woman could even be president. Nobody voted against Kamala only because she was a woman. Kamala was incompetent. Susie Wiles, very competent and more than experienced enough for the job she's about to take on. So I'm excited to see what she does. I think this is a really good pick. And I think that there is a political kind of jab at Democrats, like, haha, she's a woman, like, and you guys say I'm a sexist, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's a good jab to have there. But I look at her resume, she's not a diversity hire by any means. And I think that's amazing to see. Now let's react to all these misinformed liberals, and we'll talk about it. So this is Libs of TikTok. I have not gone. Sorry, I lost my audio on the page. But I have not gone through any of these really yet. If I have, I'll let you know. So we're going to do some blind reaction to Libs of TikToks, what they've been posting about the 2024 election and some of the people that they got here. Also, I did see this story. I'll cover it. Maybe Sunday I'll do a show. FEMA official ordered relief workers to skip houses with Trump signs. It's a Daily Wire exclusive. I will talk about it. I've only seen the headline. And so I'll talk more about it at some other point. But it's not exactly what I'll talk more about it on Sunday, likely. So everybody make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends so that you don't miss a minute. But we will get back into, let's see what's going on. So I did hear about this one. This one,
good morning,
is now has to take a leave of absence because of some things that she had to say regarding the 2024 election, Trump and his supporters. Take a look and listen.
Today is Thursday, November 7th. And here we are again. And did not think we would be, but here we are. So listen, I have a challenge for people out there. This is my challenge.
Oh, yay. I like challenges.
If you are or know a man of any color, okay?
That's me.
Any background, any nationality, any ethnic group, any religion,
She's
all of it.
Talking about
any
me.
Man who voted blue.
Oh, never mind.
I'm challenging you to post on this platform so that we can see your faces and we can thank you. And that later we have it on the record of who the safe men are.
I'm unsafe. I want to, she's a Kevaphobe.
Okay.
She's a Kevaphobe, and it's bigoted. That evil bigot lady is a Kevaphobe.
That's my challenge to you, is that you wear the blue bracelet, you wear the safety pin, you post your story to this app or wherever.
You do all the performative woke things so that you can get your badge of honor. So you say, it's just like the black square. Remember when everybody posted the black square? All the people posted the black square. They're, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I posted the black square. It's basically what they're doing. I posted the black square. I am not the racist. That's how they all sound too. I posted the black square. Yeah, no, shut up.
Everywhere, put it everywhere. Live it out loud that you tried to do right by the people of this country.
Here's actually one thing I will say. I think everybody who voted for Kamala should wear a blue bracelet and everything. Like out yourselves like that. Do it. It's the same way how some people are still wearing masks. It's like, yes, let me know that you have a low IQ. I'd love to. That would really help me. So I know in social interactions, I just shouldn't even bother with you because you're not mature. You have no sense or basis in reality. And you go so far as to announce your political affiliation to everybody as soon as you literally do anything. It is so integral to who you are, that you need to let everybody know that you are basically a walking trigger warning.
The women need to see your faces. We need to know your names. We need to know where you live, because we are in danger. And I'm speaking as a white woman, and I get that. But they'll get to me eventually. They'll get to me eventually. And if you are afraid to identify yourself as someone who voted blue, I want you to really, really think about the luxury that you have, that your skin doesn't indicate what group you belong to, if that's the way you feel. Okay? Because there are lots and lots of people out there who are in grave danger.
Like, this lady's racist. She's racist.
Okay, it's going to take a little while, but it's coming. Because, see, I believe the orange bag of vomit at his word. I believe it. So if you are a man who voted blue, please tell us so that we know who is safe. Okay? I've got on my blue bracelet with the bird symbolizing freedom. I bought this years ago in Greece. Blue watch band, although it's not the perfect color blue, but it's blue. And I'm going to start wearing my pink bracelet that says be kind. And on the inside it says,
I love how this is just so funny to me. Just so funny. Be kind, but also all these men are dangerous and we hate them. And be kind, but be kind, everybody. Be kind, be a kind person, but also I'm in trouble. I'm in danger because men who voted for Trump. That's this dumb lady.
So, I mean, I don't know what to say. The same people who say not all men are, we need to figure out which ones you are. That's what we do. That's what we need. Okay? All right, we'll talk more later.
Bye-bye. Next. That was funny. What an idiot. This is a superintendent who sent a hyper-politicized letter to staff saying how people's anxiety over Donald Trump being elected is not unfounded. Let's take a look and listen to this. This is another longer one. He's a dancer. That's how he starts us off. So this is great.
I'm Rick Dancer.
Oh no, he said I'm Rick Dancer, I think, or Rick Answer, something like that.
I'm getting a lot of emails from people, and most of the comments are saying, "Is this for real? Are you kidding?" I got this note from a parent who acquired it somehow because these were sent out to teachers in the Eugene 4J school district. I'm going to read a little segment from you, but part of it I totally understand. This was sent out by the superintendent, Colt Gill. He's an interim superintendent in 4J. And the beginning of the letter is basically, good, saying, some students, some people might be having some problems with the election results. Give people space, give them grace.
Okay, so here's one thing I want to say too, is like, what a sad state of society. Like this, the election of president, while important, was never meant to be this thing that causes such serious anxiety. Like, it's not supposed to be this thing where you believe the world is ending because a new person becomes president. Like, we know that, right? Like, that's not how it's supposed to be. And for anybody out there who is a Kamala supporter, I've invited Kamala supporters on the show. I had one tell me that he just needed time to collect his thoughts. I hope he still comes on the show. I want to talk to him. I want to get a genuine perspective. I want to understand why somebody believed that Kamala was the best. And I also want to understand how you believed Kamala was going to win. Like, I want to have that conversation. But at the same time, it's not supposed to be I would be unhappy if Kamala won. And I would lose faith in a lot of American people that, let's be honest, I already didn't have too much faith in before. Honestly, this restored a lot of my faith. This election restored a lot of my faith for people. I believe that if you are so emotionally distraught by the fact that Donald Trump was elected, to the point of which like you need counseling, then you should be institutionalized. Like you are crazy. And when I say you're crazy, like I mean that with empathy and love and care. Like you need help. Seek it.
And give them some space to deal with this, because there's people who like the decision, people who don't. I get that. But then he gets into this paragraph, and it says, the tension and anxiety many will carry today is not unfounded. The president-elect has stated that he will deport legal and illegal immigrants. Take a pause. Donald Trump, as far as my knowledge is, and I follow this stuff very carefully, has never said he's going to deport legal citizens. Why would he say that? And this is the superintendent of the schools.
Okay, so I like this guy. So this guy is the one reading the letter. Like he's not like a crazy unhinged lib. And he's debunking the letter too. I think this is really important to watch.
Putting out this misinformation in a letter, is this designed to appease and quench fears, or are you stirring the pot, Mr. Gill? He has stated that he will eliminate the U.S. Department of Education. He has spoken out against and marginalized, belittled, and or intimidated, his opinion, immigrants, people of color, people with disabilities, people with LGBTQ identities, women, the media, Democratic Party members, people of Muslim faith, and others who disagree with him. When someone with such enormous power and responsibility willingly targets whole classes of people in this way, the weight, fright, and dread some people today will carry and into the future is founded and requires no explanation. If I was a parent, I think that this letter would require much explanation, because that is highly politicized, that is highly opinionated, and you're sending this out to your staff. Is this to make people feel calmer, or are you stirring it up? Is this going to make people feel better about what's going on, or are you pointing out your opinion of what you think Donald Trump was saying? We have a new leader, and the votes were over the top. So the popular vote and the electoral college vote. So he is the president. How is this making that a healing message? As your candidate who lost, Kamala Harris, said, we need joy, we need unity and healing. How is that going along with that? If I was a parent, I'd be calling the school district and asking.
Absolutely. And this is not like the only thing. Like there are college students nationwide that are being told, oh, we have group cry sessions. I even talked about on election night, if you were on that live stream, I talked about Georgetown University, which is considered a pretty top tier university, was offering like anxiety cookies and like things like that for election day because of what was deemed election anxiety. Once again, if the election gives you that much anxiety, then either A, we have a serious issue with our system, or B, you need to look internally because there's a serious issue with you. Because when Joe Biden won, I was not happy. I was sad with the outcome. I'll admit that. But I wasn't crying about it. And part of the reason why I was upset was because I had done a lot of work with Students for Trump. And no matter how much effort, how much work you put in, to know that you lost is a difficult feeling. How could this happen? I believed in this person so much. And I've worked on multiple campaigns that have lost. And when you work so hard and then they lose, you're like, man, how'd that happen? I must have not worked hard enough. What happened? But you need counseling for it. Like if you need counseling, if you are that mentally unstable, you shouldn't be in civil society, let alone teaching our children. So let's get that through our heads here, everybody. There's more. Here's other people that are absolutely unhinged.
What if I told you that there's a medication called metadroxyprogesterone acetate, spelled like this? It comes in both an injectable and a pill form. The pill form is not water soluble, but it's mildly soluble in alcohol. And it's full of a lot of really harmful hormones, which is why it's mainly prescribed to women. But if men take it, it stops their ability to reproduce. Just a little fun fact. What if I told
So this woman is implying that if you voted for Trump, then if you're a man, not even if you voted for Trump, this woman is implying that because men overwhelmingly vote for Trump, women should go find this drug and illegally, I mean, like secretly, chemically castrate men. That's basically what she's saying. Okay, Bill Cosby, like female Bill Cosby right there. I did that one the other night. This is one I wanted. Let's take a look at. This is the ladies of the View today. Let's see what the ladies of the View. They're still on it, everybody. The ladies of the View.
I disagree. All right. I think that I'd like to reframe the conversation. I think Bernie Sanders is wrong. I think the more relevant question actually is what is wrong with America? I think
it's America's fault. Once again, this is like a common theme that we also see with a lot of liberals, especially these elites, is they are never the problem. They are never the problem. It's never that I misunderstood the American people or maybe we didn't understand the issues facing the American people, the average person. No. What's the problem with America? It couldn't be my fault. It couldn't be our fault. It's got to be everybody else's fault, right?
What is wrong with our country that the Republican Party would choose as a candidate and support a candidate who is an insurrectionist, who is an election denier, who is someone who is twice impeached, 34-time convicted felon, someone who has been accused.
Once again, not only are we going to talk, can we talk about, I mean, we could talk about the entirety of all the legal cases against Trump and how they were trumped up by the government, pun intended, to go after him for the purpose of you being able to say, well, he's a convicted felon. He's a convicted felon. That's how you sound. That's how you sound, Sonny. That's how you sound. Idiot. But also, what were the felonies for? Not to mention the fact that Democrats are also the same people that are like, we need to allow felons to vote. We need to allow felons to vote. But then as soon as Trump becomes one, oh, no. All of a sudden, felons are all terrible people. Like, how stupid can you be?
Of alleged sexual misconduct by 26 women found.
Also, if you want to talk about that one, alleged misconduct or sexual misconduct. Well, okay, so Joe Biden has like as many, if not more, and some of them are literally caught on tape of him sniffing, licking, and kissing, and even eating a baby. Not actually eating a baby for all the fact checkers out there. He was like nibbling on it. It was weird. It was weird.
Liable for sexual abuse. What is wrong with this country that they would choose a message of divisiveness, of xenophobia, of racism, of misogyny over a message of inclusiveness?
You're the reason, Sonny. You're the reason. You're the reason. I am a sexist because of you, Sonny. Actually, I'm not even a sexist. I just don't like you.
A message for the people, by the people, of the people. That's what the problem is. It's the Republican Party.
But can I say something before we can do this? The Democrats are the ones. They are the party that cares for the blue collar voter. The Democrats are the ones who put in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, union protection,
ACA,
unemployment insurance, and Obamacare. The Republican Party doesn't give a rat's patootie about
clearly
it.
they didn't convince the voters.
So all I can deduce is that it's the messaging. It didn't get through to people. They're not paying attention.
Oh, it's all their fault because they're not listening. They're not paying attention. They're not paying attention. Okay. Now, here's one thing I will say. Yes, all those policies that she just said, Democrats did put into place. Medicare, Medicaid. Okay, but what about like the civil rights movement? That was Republicans. Like if we go back to Social Security, you want to say, okay, we'll give you credit. We'll give the Democrats credit for Social Security, which I don't think you should, because if you look at, I mean, I wouldn't want to take that credit because if you look at the way Social Security, it's the number one contributor to our debt right now. But okay, same with Medicare, Medicaid, number two contributor to our debt. Yeah, okay, take credit for those. Take credit for those and claim that they're the biggest helps to the American people. But then if we're gonna dick measure here, pardon my French, but I'm a little heated. If we're gonna dick measure the policy contest. Okay, Republican Party was literally founded to end slavery. Republicans overwhelmingly voted for the Civil Rights Acts, which Democrats universally opposed. And yet you want to claim that the Democrats are the party of inclusivity. The Democrats also founded the KKK. it was considered to be a subsector and a voting block of the Democrat Party. Like, so here's the problem is that if you want to claim, oh, well, it's everybody else's fault because they don't understand this is what the Democratic Party is about. Okay, maybe Joy, by the way, maybe you're not listening because that's not what the Democrat Party sounds like they're about anymore. They're not talking about unionizing. That's not what Kamala didn't talk. And I'm anti-union, but let's talk about this. Joy, Kamala never talked about unions. And if she did, it was very, very basic. You want to know what Kamala spent more time talking about? Joy, joy, and vibes. No, the reason why Joy, the Democrat, or the reason why voters weren't hearing this message of, oh, well, Democrats, they Social Security. The reason why they weren't hearing that message is because no one was saying it. No one was saying that. What was Kamala's message? She did not have one. Idiot.
That's all.
Yeah,
because the Democrats have always been for the working people.
Exactly. And the Republicans don't care about it.
The message of the Democrats sounded elitist. You don't have value in society.
They
you don't
sounded
have
that way, but when you look at the proof,
yeah, but Joy, it's condescending. It's condescending. There is a
condescending.
The way that the left speaks to its voters. Yeah. It really is
a message of joy and inclusiveness.
No, the message.
That's not what is the message. The message of joy and inclusiveness. No, your message basically says, like, literally 2 days ago, I had on my show, I played Sonny Houston, literally says, what is wrong with uneducated white women? What is wrong with uneducated white women? You don't sound very inclusive there, Joy. I'm sorry, that's not Joy. That's Sonny. Which also, can we just talk about how the most angry, wretched, and just vile people on this show are named Joy and Sonny and Whoopi? Is that not like the most poetically hilarious thing in the entire world? That like the most like obnoxiously stupid and angry and just like gremlin-esque women are named Sunny, Joy, and Whoopi. Just to be clear.
Of not being educated, being dumb, and what's wrong with America.
Who said that?
Sonny just did.
What is wrong with America?
My point here is that
that's not what Kamala Harris said.
No. My point is, I don't blame Joe Biden. I don't blame Kamala Harris. Go back as far as you want. I blame a messaging within the Democratic Party.
You don't blame the Republican Party.
Can I just finish my point, please? I obviously have a problem. Anyone has a problem with Donald Trump. The bigger question should be, yes, Sonny, why did they vote for him?
Yes.
In sweeping.
So they need to be introspective.
No, we need to be introspective. If we voted for Kamala Harris, we need to say what didn't resonate with the voters. Do you know what didn't resonate with the voters? When they were saying we don't feel safe and the left focused on defund the police and bail reform.
Yeah.
When they said we're worrying about, can I just finish? Let me just finish real quickly. When they were focused on
renaming. It's only an hour show, ladies.
Joy. When they were focused on renaming schools, there were people saying, hey, students are destroying colleges. I paid for that. I sent them there. They can't learn. And everyone apologized for it and didn't want to attend to it. They also denied the border was a crisis and kept saying, no, it's fine. This is not a...
There was a border bill, though. There was a border bill.
Yes, but Joy, my point is they screamed and screamed and screamed. They didn't vote for him because he's a racist or a misogynist. They voted because they needed help in their everyday lives.
But Sarah,
the majority of this country, because
there's
that woman in blue, I don't know who that is. I don't see her, but she's there instead of Whoopi. And I will say, I don't necessarily agree with everything she says, but she has been making the most compelling argument so far.
Every stat coming out on the people willing to self-reflect are showing these.
Oh, wait, they're going to say I'm a racist and a misogynist in the exit poll?
You really think 74 million people are racist? Every racist and misogynist voted for Donald Trump. Not everyone that voted for Donald Trump was a racist and misogynist.
I agree with that.
Everyone swept. They swept every category. And the reason.
See, that's where I disagree is I believe that racists and misogynists both voted for Kamala Harris. I would actually say more racists and misogynists voted for Kamala Harris. The reason is because the best reason, again, not a good reason, but the best reason to vote for Kamala Harris is because because you wanted to check for diversity boxes. That's the best reason to vote for her, because she wasn't competent. Her entire career, she's never been competent. She hasn't done a single good thing in her entire career. I can't find a single one, at least. And so, I would say every single racist, sexist, misogynist voted for Kamala Harris, because the only reason really to vote for Kamala Harris is because you were like, well, she's a black woman and I want to vote for people based on their race and skin color. I'm sorry, their race, skin color, and their gender. That's the only reason I want to vote for people, is because of their race and gender. So yeah, I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris because I'm a racist, sexist, misogynist. That's why you would vote for her.
The reason they did is to say, hey guys, no excuses this time.
Yeah. Look,
they lost everything.
There's still half the country
allows its
doesn't agree with
environment to be
him.
ravaged, its children to be shot, its wealth to be hoarded, its workers to be exploited, its poor to starve, its cops to murder.
So you think America's the
country
problem?
in trouble.
So America's the problem and the
Trump
voters
is not
are
going to
the
make it
problem.
better.
Alan, hold it for the next segment, right? We'll be right back. Hold it. Yeah.
Oh man, I don't think they posted the next segment here. Maybe. But there's more deranged libs. That's hilarious though. These are hilarious. And then we get to like this one. And I got a comment here about she's definitely more attractive than a stinky blob woman. Well, if we want to talk about a stinky blob woman, I can't smell this woman. Maybe she smells like petunias, but I wouldn't put money on it.
Hi guys.
Hello.
This video has been done a few
She looks like Patrick Starr, like from like that angle. Looks like Patrick Starr.
times for me because I'm struggling myself, and I know there's others that are struggling as well as of the election
Struggling what? Getting through a doorway?
results currently. Why, yes, every vote still needs to be recounted and everything else. Nothing is.
Why does every vote need to be recounted? This is the thing. This is the thing that I like really hate about a lot of liberals is like, be mad, cry, whatever. But like, don't come out and try to tell me like, this is how elections work. Like, you obviously don't know. Like, or at least don't say it with such confidence. Like, come out and be like, I don't know exactly how this happened. I'm really sad about the outcome, but like, I don't know. Like, at least be honest with yourself. But no, every vote doesn't get recounted. That's not how a recount is a specific thing that happens when a certain threshold passes. I'll be honest, I don't know the threshold off the top of my head, but I know it's when an election is close, a candidate can call for a recount. I don't know the exact American statute for it.
Officially, but it is official. I just want to let you all know that if you need to talk, I will be available to talk. If you want to talk to other family members or anything, have a bottle of wine, an entire bottle of wine. It's okay. Having ice cream. Just talk to someone.
I love how she's like, everything's bad right now. What kind of food do we want?
Get out your coping skills, anything like that. If you want to not talk to friends or family, there is also, if you need, the crisis number, which is 988. Everyone is struggling, and I hope that somehow, eventually, we can all, I don't know what to say, right, but I can't really say to get better because it's going to be hard. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. We all failed you.
Well, at least she's taking some responsibility. You did fail us, and that's why, you put up Kamala Harris as a candidate. You absolutely failed. So where did those 15, this is a question I'd been asking. Where did these 15 million Democrats go? What happened? Well, did they go? Where did all these 15 million Democrats go? What happened? That's crazy. It was a big thing on paints their chin like a face. Maybe. I don't know. Let's keep looking. I could read through all these. I want to watch these videos. All right, this is a good one. This one, okay, fascist. I hear it already. Oh, I'm excited. This will be a good one. I'm sure of it.
If you voted for Donald Trump, you're racist. You're a fascist. You're a Nazi. You hate America. You hate women. You hate democracy. I'm sorry for your mom. It is evident that a Trump supporter has never read a
What if my mom also voted for Trump? Are you still sorry for her?
book, probably doesn't have.
I have read many books. I don't have any of my law books right here right now. It's a Friday, but I'm a law student. I read too many.
That comprehension, has never written a coherent sentence ever. Do not waste your.
You want to know how I can prove that I wrote a coherent sentence? I'm just disproving this guy left and right. Like he's not even doing anything for himself. But if you want to know how I know that I've written a coherent sentence and you want me to prove that to you, you can look below, fight against the woke mind virus and support the show. And then I put my Venmo and my Cash App. And if you'd like to, you could check that out. Do you guys actually read that down there? I wonder. I put it up like every show. And then another coherent sentence. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. ! Full sentence. Even it's actually kind of a complex sentence because it uses a list. Ring that notification bell. Do I plan on oppressing my girlfriend or wife? I have a girlfriend. She's beautiful. Love her. Do I plan on oppressing her? I already do. Go make me a sandwich. She will later. Because I'm so oppressive.
Breath on these people. Anytime that you're talking to a Donald Trump supporter, just call him a Nazi, call him a fascist, keep it moving. These people are beyond the right of education. When you choose to get misinformation, you choose to eat that shit up. When you choose not to look deeper, that is on you. That is not on us.
I agree with him. I agree with
that shit up. When you choose
what he says, like right here.
Misinformation.
Yeah.
You choose to eat that shit up.
When
I agree. You choose not to look deeper.
Yep.
That is on you.
That is on you.
Not on us.
Because look in the mirror, buddy, or watch your own video.
Because I chose to take the extra steps to not get lied to, but you were warmed by the ignorance.
I 100% agree. Except for like cut out the first like minute of this, or like we're only at 50 seconds. God, I cannot believe that we're only at 50 seconds of this. No. But cut out like the first like 30 seconds and like this guy's got a point.
Why do I have to take you out of that? No. I do not accept you. I do not see you. I do not believe that you as a person deserve any of my respect. Okay? You don't support basic human rights if you're a Trump supporter. So why would I?
What is a human right? What is a human right? I want to talk. Like, I want to have these conversations. I really do. I really want to have these conversations. The reason why I react to TikToks is because it's very difficult to find liberals that can defend their positions. And I even can. I don't need a liberal to be able to. I want a liberal to try to defend their positions with me. Like, I just want to hear it. I want to ask you questions. I want to ask questions. And I will get some, I'm sure. But like, this is the problem. It's like, I want to ask this guy. I want to talk to him. Maybe the real Joey Burns on TikTok. The real Joey Burns. Let's see if he has a Twitter. The real Joey Burns. I'm looking it up right now. We're going to look up this guy. Let's look him up. People, maybe? Joey Burns. Let's see. Joey Burns. I want to find this man and I want to talk to him about his beliefs. I don't seem to be able to find him quickly, at least. People. Joe Burns. No, I don't seem to. Let's keep watching his video, but I'll keep you guys updated. Maybe I can find Joe Burns and I can have a conversation with him about why he believes all these things. I'd like to. It's my dream.
I support your rights. Okay? That's the fucking thing. Trump supporters are the equivalent to dirt to me. I would spit on you, but I would not waste the DNA on someone like that. That's the fucking thing. I'd strangle you guys to fucking death, but I wouldn't go to prison over a Trump supporter. That's the fucking thing.
So he would strangle me. He would strangle me. I want to see, is there anything? I would love to talk to this guy. Like, I think that Joey Burns, if you ever see this, it is my dream to just ask you questions on a live stream.
Okay, it's no longer this neutral ground, this place where we don't judge people for their politics and it's just like melting pot. No, you're Republican, you voting Republican, I fucking hate you. And I think you're a racist. I know you're a racist. I know you're a pedophile. I know that you're a Nazi, a fascist. I don't care. I can make a list. Okay, because it's beyond it. It's beyond it now. Okay, there is no wishy-washy Republican. If you're Republican, you're a fascist Nazi because you support Trump. And that party, they don't give a fuck about ideals, morals, who they're fucking propping up. They only care about winning and taking power in this country. And how can you guys not see that? But that's the fucking thing. That's the fucking thing. Is you guys probably do see it and you just accept it. But again, to the day I die, it's fuck Donald Trump. To the day I die, it's fuck Republicans. They are ruining America, and I'm not letting that happen. We the people, we the Democrats will not let that fucking happen. I'm not taking this shit sitting down. Fuck Donald Trump.
I want to listen. Okay, we heard everything he said. I'm going to try to reach out to this guy. I would like to have him on my show. I think he seems like the kind of person that could have a reasonable discussion about why he believes what he believes. No, I want to talk to this guy and I'm going to reach out, but I want to hear like the last like 5 seconds. I don't know if you guys really heard what he said, but like, let's really for a second, listen to what he says right here.
That happen. We the people, we the Democrats will not let that fucking happen. I'm not taking this shit sitting down.
That part right there, like that last little sentence of what he just said.
The Democrats will not let that fucking happen. I'm not taking this shit sitting down.
I'm not taking this shit sitting down. So does this mean he takes his poops standing up? Am I doing it wrong? Have I been doing it wrong this whole time? He doesn't take this shit sitting down. Or maybe it's like it's such a big shit that he's taking it standing up. How in which do you take a shit? How do you do? We need answers to the real questions, real Joey Burns. How are you taking this poop? Because according to you,
but I'm not taking this shit sitting down.
He's not taking it sitting down. How are you taking it, Joey Burns? I don't get it. I think that's honestly, of all the things that he said in that video, that was not only the most surprising, but also the one that ticked me off the most, is that's what he said. So okay, let's listen to this one. This one is literally just tagging the FBI. Let's she's wearing a choker. Hey, 2012 called. They want their jewelry back.
There is a highly trained professional assassin out there right now, and you have one job. Chop, chop, bitch.
These people are deranged. Genuinely. Let's take a look at this one. This one's like a school board meeting after the election.
All right. Then I would love to welcome up our Akalani's Education Association representative, Ms. Lloyd Tewksbury. It's on. Perfect. Okay.
Good evening, members
She looks like a Midwest Karen. I don't know where she's from, but she looks like a Midwest Karen.
of the governing board and incoming governing board member. Congratulations. So it's hard to ignore the elephant in the room. So I will just say it's been a rough 24 hours. And I'm really left questioning what is wrong with the majority of the people in this country.
What is wrong with the majority of the people in this country? See, like, this is the problem. Like, this is like such a major problem, in my opinion. It is nowhere ever does she ask or like, if she's coming to this meeting and she is saying, what is wrong with the majority of this country? And she has come to this point where that's what she asks. You can even see, now this guy might've been a Kamala voter or I don't know, but like, he just looks like, okay, this is going to be one of these ladies. Like, come on. No, I hear that. And what I'm saying, what I hear is Like, you could still be a Kamala voter, but you're never once asking, like, why did these people like, there's no way they accept to believe that what is wrong with all these people is to accept that every single person of the 70 plus million people, 80 million people that voted for Trump, to say what is wrong with the majority of the people in this country is to say that 80 million people, it's more probable that 80 million people have something wrong with them than it is to say maybe 80 million people, or a good portion of that, had reason to believe that the person they're voting for is the best option. Like, that's the thing. I don't believe 81 million people voted for Joe Biden. That said, I do not believe that the majority of the people that voted for Joe Biden voted for him because that they knew all the facts and they still chose for somebody who was going to do a bad job. I believe that many were lied to. I believe that there were instances of fraud. I believe that there was misinformation spread by news sources that were supposed to be trusted. Like, that's what I believe. I don't believe that it's all the people's fault. I believe it's people's in power's fault. And when it comes to Kamala, I still have, even those that, like, I wonder, why did they believe Kamala was the best option? I asked that multiple times on my show prior to the election. I said, please, in the comments, let me know what's the best reason to vote for Kamala, and don't mention Trump. Because if your only reason was I don't like Trump, it's not a really good reason to vote for somebody. But if that's your reasoning, okay, that's better. It's a better response than, like, I know she's going to be terrible and I just like chaos. Let's see if there's anything else to this lady, or if she is just as shallow as her initial statement.
I'm also deeply worried about our kids, especially our young girls, our kids of color, our LGBTQIA+ kids. What do the results of this election say to them? Anyway, on to AEA news.
So that's just how she starts it off. Is like, I'm just worried about our kids. Also, she's a president of an education association, and yeah, she had, oh my gosh, and she was just so worried about the gay kids. What a problem. What a problem. This is a physician's assistant in an OBGYN office in Pennsylvania that has reportedly been fired after writing she hopes the daughters of Trump supporters have ectopic pregnancies. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, that happened fast. There are consequences to your actions, Nicole. Hopefully now you realize that. And yeah, so not only has she lost her job, but she's got multiple complaints filed with the licensing board.
Oh my gosh. So this is just them talking about the situation, but Nicole Hart said this on Facebook: to every woman that voted for Trump, I hope your daughter has that's a terrible thing to say. These people are deranged. This is amazing. I
just lost a day ago. Like, damn.
You gotta see me that one.
My girl just lost a day ago. Like, damn.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Get rid of her. Take out the trash. I'll take out the trash. Call me the garbage man. They want to call my supporters garbage. I'm the garbage man. I will take out the trash. Kamala and Joe, you fired. That's it. That's it. Let's watch. Okay, we'll watch this one. Okay. TikToker claims her grandmother was hospitalized for a mental breakdown. Good. If you're having a mental breakdown over the election results, you should be hospitalized.
Grandma had a mental breakdown over Trump being reelected, and she is now in the hospital, and my mom is driving up to Northern California to get her and bring her home to live with my mom. My grandma's mental health, and just like her, I don't think it was just her mental health, I also think it was like her actual physical health has been declining. She just lives alone, and she was becoming really forgetful, and we weren't sure if it was depression or, you know, what it was. But yesterday my mom called her and was like, hey, did you know there was an election? She didn't even know there was an election. And my mom said, yeah, Trump won again. And so they hung up the phone, and then a couple hours later my grandma calls my mom, and she's like sobbing, saying that she didn't study enough. Like, she was just very incoherent. And it scared my mom so much that she called her sister. Her sister went and got my grandma overnight.
And they are taking her to the hospital this morning just to like get her vitals checked. She's just had a couple things, you know, going on, but
my God.
It's just crazy how deep women hold like the trauma of men.
Oh, so it's men's fault. It's
You know,
it's a man's fault.
It's not just about abortion rights. It's not just about those kinds of things, right? Because there's like so many women that love Trump, obviously. That's like one of his biggest blocks. But the way that he speaks can just be so traumatizing. I think especially for older women who grew up at a time when their voice like really didn't matter. So
Women, really white women especially. So this woman looks white, so I'm assuming that her grandmother is probably white. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry. But white women overwhelmingly voted for Trump. And so if you want to say their voice is no longer there, then you're a hypocrite.
But I'm glad that she's going to be living with us and we can hopefully, you know, raise her spirit.
Okay, so here's the thing. First off, it's like really sad that somebody would have that level of a reaction. And there are some people that are perfectly healthy. They're not old. They don't necessarily have issue with like dementia and everything like that. But I truly believe that a lot of people, there are some people where they're just too stupid to discern truth. And just when I say that somebody is stupid or they're too stupid to discern truth, I'm not necessarily saying that the truth is that they need to be a Trump supporter. It's that you should be able to lose an election and not need to be hospitalized for it. And there are some people where they should be hospitalized and everything because they genuinely like they have something seriously wrong with them. That they, and maybe it is just serious brainwashing, but that's what I think is the saddest part of all of this is that there are a lot of people that have been so radically brainwashed. And I think this grandma seems like one of them, so radically brainwashed. To where they believe that Donald Trump is going to like end their life, that they will have nothing. The fact of the matter is Donald Trump was president from 2016 to 2020. Chances are you lived through that. Chances are too, parts of your life, if not all of your life, got a little bit better throughout that. Maybe not because of COVID. Donald Trump he couldn't stop disease dead, period. And I even have criticisms for some of the ways he handled COVID. That said, a lot of people are still here now. Everybody's still here now, pretty much. I mean, like no one died as a direct result of Donald Trump's presidency. Donald Trump didn't go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot anybody. Donald Trump didn't advocate for the death of anybody. Donald Trump didn't advocate for policy with the intention of killing people or with policy that he knew would kill people. Joe Biden, on the other hand, Kamala Harris, did nothing about the border when they knew that there were safety threats with doing that, and people died. Now, the point of what I'm trying to make here is you can be unhappy with the election results. You can wish your guy won. But I'm a firm believer that America is stronger as a country. And while I believe the presidency has drastically increased in power, mainly due to Democrat presidents, I do believe that our country and everything that it has with it and that it was founded with is stronger than one man and one president. And if you put all of your faith, and thus all of your faith is lost in who the president is and not maybe God or even other people that are in positions of power, and you put it all in who the president is, then you are looking at that much of the picture. The picture is all here, if not even bigger than that, and you're looking at that much of it. So back up, see the bigger picture, and grow the F up. Seriously, people. And I'm going to keep covering different instances of liberals losing their minds. And I'll probably maybe go live a little bit on Sunday. If not Sunday, then Monday. Maybe Monday. More likely Monday. but maybe Sunday. So everybody, don't forget to like this video. As always, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, and definitely subscribe. Check me out everywhere. In the description of this video, likely you'll see a link that'll have like all my Instagram, my TikTok, everything like that. And you can check me out in different places. Follow me on Rumble too, because on Rumble I won't get banned, and YouTube I might. So please like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. And be ready, because things are just beginning. Trump still has a sentencing date. Trump still has to become president. I'm probably going to the inauguration, highly likely. So I'll live stream or at least get content from Trump's inauguration. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody, God bless you. God bless America. And thank you so much for tuning in to Speechless.